Minority Radio.
Hello there, welcome to this brand new edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me, my co-host Guillermo Cita and the Pokemon Master Albert Cita. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Good. Happy Memorial Day to everybody.
Memorial Day weekend. Thank you everybody for their past and present service. We do appreciate that because without that, we would not be here jabbering on these microphones and putting them in on the podcast world, right, guys?
Yep.
So let's get started. UFC Fight Night 88. UFC Fight Night Vegas, UFC Vegas, wherever. Every time I go online, there's something different, right? Almeida versus Garbrandt.
And then the hashtag was UFC Las Vegas.
Yeah. So anyway, it took place Sunday night over the Memorial Day weekend. Pretty big bantamweight main event between Thomas Almeida and Cody Garbrandt or Garbrandt.
You're asking that wrong.
Garbrandt. No, Cody, no love.
I call him Cody.
Also, former bantamweight champion Hannah Browse on the card. So, let's get right into it. Main event. Coming into it, 21-0. Thomas, stop the clock for me, Guillermo. You got the clock?
No, I don't. I was looking.
All right, hold the timer, guys.
I was looking at the results.
Ready?
Even though I know the results.
Nice for us.
Let's go and start round of one now. So, main event: Cody Garbrandt versus Thomas Almeida. 21-0 versus 8-0 coming into the bout. Excuse me. Thomas Almeida hype train. People were saying this guy hasn't beaten anybody in the top 15.
Yeah.
He's all hype. UFC was billing him as a future bantamweight champion. I think on this show we thought he was going to be a future champion. He still may be a future champion. But Cody, who was 8-0, came in, stepped up, scored a first-round knockout. Is this telling fight or just not Thomas's night?
No, you know what? I was very impressed by Cody. I mean, it seems like he wanted it so much more than Thomas Almeida the minute the bell rang. And you can tell that. And I think he is part of that future in that bantamweight division. So don't take him lightly as well. I think he's a top contender.
Yeah, I think Cody went in there like super confident. I mean, the guy looked like a veteran. For someone that's 8-0, he looked very comfortable in the octagon. I thought Almeida was the one that was kind of the one that
tentative, huh?
Yeah.
Well, but remember, Almeida.
Well, they say he's a slow
starter.
That's what they kept saying.
Look at his previous fights. It's to the brink where he's about to lose, where he turns it up.
Yeah.
So.
But it's funny because Cody kept if you listen to Brian Stan's commentary, he kept saying that Cody knows that he's a slow starter. Cody knows that that's to his advantage. Cody knows that that's probably where he's going to get him right away. So it's like that's a veteran move right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, coming into this bout, people were kind of trying to de-hype derail the hype train of Almeida, saying he's 21-0, but he hasn't really beaten anybody in the top 10.
And the same thing was said about Cody, and Cody took the offense to it at the end.
Yeah, but people are calling for Cody to get a title shot after he beat a guy who was all hype. So, is it just like fans is clamoring for something, or like is Cody now in line for a title shot after he beat a guy?
No,
you know what I mean? Like people say, "Oh, Thomas is nothing," blah blah blah. He's all hype, and then all of a sudden Cody knocks him out. Title shot for Cody. He beat Thomas. He was 21-0 type of thing. So people are kind of trying to morph this story into what they want it to be. So
no, I think there's plenty of contenders in the bantamweight division that these guys are now eligible to encounter.
Yeah.
Thomas Almeida hasn't fought the elite of the bantamweight division, and so hasn't Cody. But I think now we can see that. I mean, we talking about that TJ Dillashaw versus Cody would be awesome.
Yeah, and you see a guy like John Dodson is still waiting out there too.
Yeah,
so.
and then the interesting that I was watching that after they were talking about Brian Caraway. Sterling lost earlier in that night, who was ranked number 4.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing that he was so low in the card on the fight pass.
Well, because it's Brian Caraway.
But it doesn't matter. Brian Caraway was ranked.
Yeah.
Cody wasn't ranked, so I think Brian Caraway versus Cody makes perfect sense.
Oh. Yeah, actually, I found that funny that the main event had two guys that were lower than like the opening event.
Yeah.
So that's a unique thing.
Well, I mean, just for a marketability point, Thomas Almeida, they need a Brazilian star out there.
Yeah.
This is the one guy, Cody Garbrandt, good looking dude, tattoos, has a look. I think he even dated Paige Van Zandt, right? So there's that story there too. They want a guy who's 8-0 to try and push in the bantamweight division. Even though I think Dominic Cruz has a pretty good stronghold on the division right now, they got to start at the top, right, guys?
Well, they do, but if you
thank you,
if you look at the rankings, you take out Hannah Burrell from that rankings already.
But you're supposed to.
Yeah, you're supposed to. Sterling with the loss. I mean, like everybody gets
know.
pushed forward
Yeah.
or up.
Brandon Brown might go back now.
No,
Yeah,
he might
that's
go
the
back.
next round too. But I mean, you can tell they want Cody to be a star, right?
Well,
They want him to be a star.
Who knows? Because both of them came up with the hype. I think it was a great matchup. To whose hype train do we jump on if you're the UFC? Is it, do we go on the Almeida train and let's push him hard, or do we go on the Cody train and push him hard? Now we kind of have there's a decision. You got to push Cody.
It's just me. You can always tell the UFC's marketing tool. Like the first thing they do to try to push somebody is they'll drape them over their country's flag, huh?
Yeah.
So like for some reason, like Cody,
They just hand like a flag out
yeah,
there.
he had like a flag on all the weigh-ins and like the fight. He had like, the American flag. I know it's Memorial Day, but still, it's kind of like you can tell like when they're trying to push somebody.
Now that you say that, now that I think back, that's exactly how Chris Wyman was. He was always bringing out the American flag, and I was like, dude, don't force me to like you, bro.
I love America no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't need Chris Weidman to tell me how great America is.
Exactly.
But and Thomas Almeida has Brazilian flag. So that's kind of like the first notch that the UFC wants to push the guys. They'll put the American flag on them. So
There's a funny moment too. Now that we talk about the flag things, when Cody was entering to the octagon, there was a fan with the Brazilian flag out, and so he just turns to him and like shows him the American flag, and then keeps walking. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, it is America, greatest country on planet Earth. So interesting to see. I mean, we still got two guys, TJ Dillashaw and Rafael Sensao. I think who are ahead of these guys by big time.
Yeah.
Ryan Caraway.
Well, the other advantage Cody has is that he
John
trains with
Dodson.
Uriah Faber, and Uriah Faber is very high in the totem pole with the UFC. So
Yeah.
And then
But with that said, other than Uriah Faber, he has a lot of top 5 guys he can fight though.
Yeah.
So that's good.
the future's bright for both these guys, I think. So that's what we're saying. All right, so that's it for round number 1. We're talking about the return of Renan Burrell and his debut at 145. So stick around. All right, time for round number 2. Get that timer started. So Renan Burrell, former UFC bantamweight champion, one time considered probably the best pound-for-pound fighter on the world. After 2 losses to DJ Dillashaw, saying, you know what, I want no part of this guy whatsoever. I'm going to leave the division completely. Made his debut at featherweight on Sunday and against Jeremy Stephens, and took a unanimous decision loss. Did he look good to you guys? Is it a good 145?
we always talk about these super fights, and we always talked about when Renan Burrell
I
was
don't say
champ.
it's a super fight.
No, but I'm just saying when he was a champ at bantamweight, we always talked about how he's dominating that division.
Well, he was,
and we wanted to see a super fight, him fighting the best of the featherweights. Now it's kind of a reality check that we always ask for these super fights, but until we actually see the guy move up, do we say, you know what? That wasn't a very good idea, because he looks so much smaller than Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens' power, I think, was a problem for Renan Burrell. I mean, like it looked like he was getting rocked.
Yeah, we also remember Jeremy Stephens
came down from 155. That's why it's almost like he fought a guy at 2 weight classes above him.
Yeah.
But you physically saw the difference. You did see Jeremy Stephens seemed like the bigger fighter.
Look at a person like Conor McGregor. He's going from 165, 170, dropping down to the 145. That's the people that Renan Burrell is going to be facing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, even if Jeremy Stephens was fighting at 155, I bet you Jose Aldo walks around 160, 170.
Yeah.
All the top featherweights walk around in that weight.
So, I mean, the whole thing for Renan Burrell was to get new breath of fresh air in his career. Did you see that on Sunday? Did you see that?
If anything, it's like, hey, you got to get back down to the bantamweight division. That's where he was the most deadliest. Maybe it's fixing something in the bantamweight division of what he was doing incorrectly.
Well, because it all came down to his weight cutting issues, right? That's what it was. So if the skill, we also the skill levels, their fighting skills there. It's just the diet's wrong, homie. You know what I mean?
And I think that with the diet, I mean, if he just maintained a healthy lifestyle, maybe it wouldn't be so drastic of a weight cut. But you can tell that he does not belong in the featherweight division. I mean, like
they kept saying, sorry, but they said that his speed will be an advantage here. The speed disappeared after the first round, didn't it? Like he looked kind of. And then, on his feet in the second, third round, he was completely flat-footed.
The only thing is, I was very disappointed in Jeremy Stephens. I felt like he could have finished the fight, like, in the first round, second round. I mean, it seemed like he dragged it on more than he should have. And I wanted to see that killer instinct. I think just by leaving Renan Burrell, a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
I think that to me, it had a bad taste compared to how Cody came out. That's like, you know what, I'm going guns blazing. I'm going to get rid of him right away. I think I was a little bit disappointed in that.
I'm pretty sure Jeremy Stephens was trying to finish.
Oh, of course.
But with that said, I don't want to take nothing away from Jeremy Stephens, but that did not look like the old Renan Burrell. It could be a million reasons, the weight class. Jeremy Stephens was just too much for him. but he did not look like the old Henry Brown. He didn't even look like he moved the same way, to tell you the truth. And I found that kind of jarring. And I don't know if it's just the whole TJ Dillashaw thing kind of killed his mojo and his confidence, because he did not look like a very confident fighter. Even in the beginning, even when he was having success in the first round, it still didn't seem like the old Henry Burrell to me.
Nonetheless, it's a name for Jeremy Stevens.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean,
you beat a former champion.
Yeah, you beat a former champion, a champion that at
technically
one
Jeremy
point,
Stevens the bantamweight champion now, right?
And
Yeah,
at one point, Henry Burrell cleared that division. So I mean, it bodes well for Jeremy Stevens in that featherweight division. I think it propels him into a top contender role.
Yeah,
just by that name alone.
So for Henry Burrell, next move, featherweight again? Give it one more shot, or you can't get stuck. You can't get
okay.
He's gonna end up like Benson Harrison, where you're stuck in between two divisions. That's bad for you.
And not only do you end up stuck, the company ends up not caring about you.
Yeah.
So if Henry Brown doesn't stick to one thing, he's going to get lost in the shuffle, and you'll see that UFC is going to care.
What's the point in featherweight if he's not going to be able to contend for the championship?
Yeah.
For me, it's like don't even give it another chance. Go back down to bantamweight where you were a top contender. You know, like I said, change your lifestyle, and meaning eating healthier or doing something with your weight, and two, fix whatever was broken against that or was broken because of TJ Dillashaw. Fix that, and he's right up there in the bantamweight division.
And it's not like he's like Donald Cerrone, where his charisma and media, he could bounce between weight classes and still be popular. Like, say, he might be the best in hench round where he's bouncing between weight classes and that's like your Bellator.
And the thing is, I don't even think he's that old, right?
Who, Henry Brown?
Yeah,
no,
Henry Brown. So, I mean, like, I think...
he's only 29.
So he's got time to fix whatever was broken because
he's just going through a funk right now, I guess, right? But I guess in MMA, especially in UFC...
And he's 5'6". If you notice, the 145 guys are a little bit taller. So maybe bantamweight is.
I think he needs to drop the bantamweight because what's dangerous is his losing record now.
Yeah.
So he needs a couple wins in his record or in upcoming fights, or else we might not see Henry Brown in the UFC anymore.
All right, I say for round number 2, round number 3, we're talking about the fall of the Brazilian champion. See if there's anything they can do to rise back up and claim some UFC gold. So stick around. All right, welcome back. Time for round number 3. So this card, UFC Fight Night, had one promising Brazilian, Thomas Almeida, and then one former champion in Henry Burrell. And then was it last week or 2 weekends ago, Fabricio Verdun was defeated by Stipe Miocic, pretty much.
And he just got booked. Fabricio Verdun versus Ben Rothwell.
So what was key there was Verdun was the last Brazilian to hold UFC gold. There was a while there where I think every championship was held by a Brazilian fighter. Now I think there are 0, right, Albert?
Yep, I think they're all done.
So the Brazilian nation is pretty much synonymous with... with heavyweights and with UFC gold.
Well, no, Rafael Dos Anjos.
He's still champion.
He's still champion.
So there's one.
It's funny. You know what's funny too? We just proved a pretty good point that it's so hard to remember Rafael Dos Anjos.
So is this more? And then with the Henry Brown not looking good and Thomas Almeida getting defeated, is this most of the world catching up with Brazil or Brazil falling back? What is it? Because remember, there's a time where the guy comes in, he's Brazilian, he's going to win. That's the reputation. Or he's a Brazilian black belt. He's good.
The only thing the only thing I can think of is to kind of compare to is in soccer. In soccer, you go through these little phases, and especially you talk about the golden ages in each country. And if you're able to get this little arc of golden age, which you get an infusion of really, really good talent by that country. It's those are the countries that win the World Cup. You're talking about like a Germany. You see these rising stars, and then all of a sudden they get old and they're not able to replenish that talent. And then you see the rise of Brazil, and then you see the rise of France, and you kind of see that.
Germany,
and I think that plays well to the UFC as well. We saw this rise of Brazil, and you will see a little bit drop off, but then we'll see another crop of young talent, up and coming talent they'll replace that aging stars. I think also the Brazilians are aging stars.
True.
And now we just need that new infusion, and it might take a couple of years. So don't think that just because we don't have no Brazilian champions, there's no Brazilians on the rise. It's just we haven't heard of them yet, and it's just matter of time.
I agree with them, but I would take it a little bit further and say maybe they're just not that hungry anymore. Because I remember seeing Jose Aldo, Henry Brown, they were so aggressive. I mean, they went in there like to murder people, And now it seems more like they're in there to get, win a fight. And I think that they lost that aggression somewhere along the way. Like even Fabricio Verdun, when he fought Kane and stuff like that, he really like even before, even when he fought Fedor, I think he there was some aggression in there. And then if you saw the last fight, he kind of fought a fight.
Yeah.
The other thing is I kind of disagree with that because these guys are aging superstars now at this point.
I mean, that has something to do with the
and that the other thing is they reached the top, right? So now there's a comfort level amongst that circle of fighters, especially representing that country. It's when the young guys can't reach that potential or trying to fit in their shoes and they can't do it, that you'll start getting these rising stars, even younger generation before that.
But okay, so then who are the stars then? We all saw one.
Well, the thing is,
night.
you got to remember, there's still 2 potential champions that we can get from Brazil. You're talking about Jacare, that is a potential champion
contender,
and a contender, and then you have Jose Aldo facing against Frankie Edgar. So technically, if those 2 guys win, we're talking about 3 champions.
Yeah.
So then again, I mean, like don't just discredit that there's no Brazilian champions all of a sudden. There's potential guys.
And there's Rafael dos Anjos.
And there's the current reigning defending.
And remember, if
lightweight champion
Fabricio Verdum were to be Ben Rothwell, he's back in the contention.
The other thing too is the only real gym you hear that's based in Brazil is Jose Aldo's and Henry Burrell's gym, which is Chuto Box, whatever. But you don't really hear any other one. Yeah, you hear the one that's over here in California with Rafael dos Anjos and Fabricio Verdum and stuff like that. But if you think about it, all the other fighters, you hear their camps a lot more, and that's where the stars usually come from those camps. But you haven't really heard anything else.
Your boys, Machida and Anderson Silva, Blackhouse.
Come on, Blackhouse has been done, bro. Everybody knows. Ever since Anderson Silva lost, Blackhouse has been done.
Blackhouse died.
It's just they're aging stars, dude. I think that's why you guys, especially this guy, sees the rise of Brazil or the fall of Brazil is because Machida's no longer there, Anderson Silva's no longer there.
Vitor Belfort just got knocked out.
Which were the face of that Brazilian uprising.
Jose Aldo's kind of got knocked out by Conor McGregor. Henry Burrell just lost to Jeremy Stevens. Thomas Almeida just got knocked out by Cody Garbrandt. I mean, other than our Verdum got knocked out by Stipe Miocic. So it looks pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully, I mean,
Anderson Silva just lost.
Yeah, to Michael Bisping. Come on. All right, that's it for round number 3. We'll take a quick little break, come back and talk about BJ Penn and the use of IVs. So stick around. Welcome back. Time to enter the championship rounds, round number 4. So, BJ Penn.
I am so mad about this. Go continue.
BJ Penn has been removed from UFC 199 for violating the USADA policy for IV usage out of competition. He actually disclosed it. I've been using this stuff. And they told me, hey, what the heck? You can't use this. So, they pulled him off from UFC 189 against Cole Miller, who was replacing Dennis Seaver, and now Bruce Lee, where Alex Caceres is replacing BJ Penn to face Cole Miller, who was replaced with the beginning. Anyway, so BJ Penn's out, suspension pending. So this is another UFC veteran who didn't know about the rules from for the USADA. Now he's suspended. So take it away, Guillermo.
I mean, if I'm Dana White, I do not let this guy ever fight again in the UFC promotion. And the reason why is, one, how the heck do you not know? He not only does he have a website that probably reports on this, the new rules and stuff like that. But I mean, like, coming into the fight, hey, okay, so you're a veteran guy. This is what we're gonna work towards, so you can get in shape and stuff like that. But hey, remember, this is banned. I mean, you don't surround yourself with that kind of people. The second thing that really gets me mad is that he's been quoted as saying that he would, like, using IV stuff is for girls and stuff like that.
For pansies.
Yeah.
For pansies, and then here he goes using it and say, well, it's out of competition. What does it matter? I mean, like, you said that you would never use something like that, and then here you go using it. And if you're gonna use IV, why wouldn't you ask?
Yeah.
Like, anytime if I was a fighter, a professional fighter, anytime I was told, hey, take this supplement, take this, take that, I would ask a million questions before I even take it. And I don't think why that approach was never, like, in his mind. Like, hey, let me ask about this before I do it.
Yes, here's an official statement he released on BJPenn.com. I voluntarily disclosed to the USADA that during a non-fight period that I had a IV administered under the care of a doctor. The rule for IV usage had changed since my last fight, which was in 2014, I believe, against Frankie Edgar in the UFC, and was unaware of the change and voluntarily disclosed information to the USADA. I had no idea that IV usage was banned 365 days a year. At no time in my career in martial arts have I ever doped, and anticipate that all test results from the USADA will come back clean, and I will be working with the UFC to get the matter cleared up and return to fight as soon as possible. So he's using IV to
And I don't even think
drastic weight cut, right? Because he went from one.
Yeah, but see, I don't think it's doping because to me, IV is you to
rehydrate,
you to rehydrate after a horrible weight cut. So or not doing proper hydration during weight cut. So I think for that, I think his terminology is incorrect. I think if USADA, especially the way USADA's been going around, like, hey, we're stricter, we have new guidelines. It's like I would read up on those guidelines before I did anything.
It's kind of crazy. They're busting guys just by walking through the door now. I mean, remember, Cheetah just walked. They walked in there like, I took this. All right, you're suspended.
You're out of here.
Yeah, BJ Penn. I've been doing this. You're out of here. So, your thoughts on this whole situation?
One, kudos to BJ Penn for admitting it, just like Machida. It's rather the tell what you did wrong instead of getting caught.
It's the Mark McGuire.
Yeah, first and look how much.
Face.
But see, look, in Mark McGuire, nobody has an issue with them.
Yeah,
but Sammy Sosa, people still have issue with that.
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds. Yeah. Well, anyways, the fact that he had to keep using this IV, whatever, I think it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Especially if you needed to replenish yourself in that type of weight class, and he hasn't really done the weight cut, right? So that to me that's all red flags, and it sucks because I know he feels like in order to reestablish himself or continue a career, it would have to be in a different weight class because it's hard to argue for him to fight in a higher weight class, right? So it's a difficult position, but the fact that all this stuff occurred and that he needs it's just a bunch of red flags to me. And if I was UFC, I wouldn't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. And if you really think about it, at 145, he did not look very healthy last time he fought Frankie Edgar. So, I mean, like, that alone should raise question marks whenever he's doing this weight cut. It's like, if last time it didn't go so well, you would take the precautions to try to do it as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to introduce new weight rules and new weight stuff to
weight cut rules.
Yeah,
the whole week, right?
Yeah, to encourage fighters to not do these big weight cuts. And I don't know if that'll probably change the landscape because there's a lot of people who drop 30 pounds to make a weight class, and maybe that'll take away their strength. Maybe we'll see a shift around divisions. Who knows?
Yeah. So with this, the IV ban and then the whole sexual assault, allegations, is BJ Penn even worth the time for the UFC?
No, because
at this point in his career,
how excited were you guys to see the return of BJ Penn, especially against Cole Miller, even before that against Dennis Seaver? No, it wasn't even good enough to main event a fight pass or a fight card.
This is gonna be the undercard. It wasn't even on the pay-per-view. So, all right, that's it. So we'll see what BJ Penn's future has in store for him. So that's it for round number 4. We got one more round. We're gonna actually preview UFC 199 coming up. Stick around. All right, welcome back. Time for the 5th and final round. Actually, you know what? UFC 199 coming up on June 4th from the Forum here in Inglewood, California. This is actually a pay-per-view I'm kind of hyped about, guys.
You know what? It top to bottom, it's actually pretty good. I know we
kind of hate on UFC every while,
a little bit because of Chris Weidman dropping out. But if you really think about it, and you're talking about the main card specifically, top to bottom, I mean, it should be exciting fights.
We got Luke Rockhold against Michael Bisping. I actually like the promos. War of words.
They're getting back to having good promos. I remember it sucks because I remember UFC used to have such good promos back in the day.
Yeah.
To like hype up a fight, like really good. I remember sending you links like, dude, did you see the promo?
Yeah.
The promo is what we're talking. But now and then lately it's
there's
been
just too many. There's just too many events to keep up with.
Yeah, but this is one of the better ones.
Yeah, for the middleweight championship, Luke Rockhold against Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping late replacement, but.
And I told you guys the reason I was more excited about this is because there was an actual rivalry. There's actually some hatred a little bit. I wouldn't say like too much of a hatred, but they don't like each other. Let's just say that.
Weidman could talk trash, but not to the level of Michael Bisping. And we've learned that Luke Rockhold is a really good trash talker.
Yeah, so you can build a promo based off of that. When sometimes you have too much respectable, how can you build it? It seems so fake. This feels so authentic. So, I mean, like, I think that's why even the promo excites us, even though we've already seen the outcome from the first fight, that it was really one-sided.
Yeah.
But I told you guys, I'd rather see Michael Bisping than Uriah Hall. There's more excitement around Michael Bisping and Luke Rockhold.
Hopefully it's a fight. I just want to see a fight. You know what I mean? Hopefully Mike Bisping doesn't try and run, but I think he, like Aubrey said, this is his last chance. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. He probably feels it. Might as well leave
Well, the thing about Michael Bisping, he gets under your skin, so you want to come out and fight. Yeah. So that's the thing. Michael Bisping could be, try to do the strategy and run around the cage. Luke Rockhold's not going to allow that. He wants to get even for all the smack talk to Michael Bisping.
I think if Michael Bisping loses and it's a finish, like Luke Rockhold finished him, I think Michael Bisping's done. I think if for some odd reason Michael Bisping thinks he
not
might
done. There's you know how many fight cards, fight night events, fight night in England next year.
I think he'll retire because he's getting up there on age, and he knows that it's going to be that much harder to get a title shot. He would literally have to go be number 2 instantly to get another title shot.
They just announced Arlovsky versus Barnett, like it's somewhere in Germany. I mean, as long as UFCs have events like that, Michael Bisping will always have a home.
I'm not saying he won't have a job. I just think I just think he wouldn't have it in him no more to do another long run.
And the thing is, if you think about it, Michael Bisping hasn't faced the guys that are contending. He hasn't faced Chris Weidman. He hasn't faced Jacare.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's 37.
But it doesn't.
He's getting there.
But if Luke Rockhold were to lose, let's say Luke Rockhold beats Michael Bisping, but Luke Rockhold loses to Weidman or to Jacare, you could still potentially see that Michael Bisping title shot.
Within the next 2 years, anyways.
Yeah.
Co-main event: Dominic Cruz versus Uriah Faber. This is a rivalry going with 10 years in the making now. I think their promo's really good too. They're cutting. They're cutting to when Faber first beat him.
When you listen to their radio interviews, I'm like, damn, dude.
They say they can't even be in the same room. Like they have to be like one has to be different rooms, and they'll talk to each other.
No, I seen the Herd. They were right next to each other.
The Herd's on a budget. They're like us, like one room. That's it. I think it should be a great fight. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think both of them. This is the rubber match, and it's long overdue. So I think just because of that, I think both of them really want to prove which one's the best.
And this is the second
because this might be the last opportunity.
Yeah, so this is the second bout with Dominic Cruz after the 4 years being gone injury. So this should be kind of good to see if you get in the groove of another back-to-back training camps relatively quickly too. So I think it should be entertaining. Albert, any sleeper bouts on this card?
Just the Bobby Green one, because I mean, you have Dustin Poirier versus Bobby Green. This is a very underrated matchup, I think, and I think it is a huge one. Dustin Poirier is no chump. He literally had nothing but high caliber contenders. Bobby Green, I mean, he was on one of the hottest streaks at one point. So this is a very underrated match, and I really do think this is a big standout for it's a good way to open the card.
To me, it's Max Holloway versus Ricardo Lamas. I think Max Holloway is knocking on the footsteps of a title shot in the featherweight division. I mean, he's the only one that went the distance with Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
In that weight class. So I mean, forget Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
They were fighting at 170, but at featherweight division, Max Holloway gave him a lot of problems. I think Ricardo Lamas has faced for the title, and outside of that title matchup against Jose Aldo, Ricardo Lamas has been really good. So I think that's a potential of a really good fight that they'll stand and bang.
You got your boy Hector Lombard against Dan Henderson.
I know the return of
knockout for sure. Right?
Not only is Hector Lombard returning, he's returning to middleweight. So this will be interesting.
Also, the return of Jessica Penne after almost a year after being defeated by Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Mm-hmm. She's making her return against Jessica Andrade. She'll be entertaining a women's strawweight bout. UFC 199 takes place June 4th at the Forum in Inglewood, California. Inglewood rising up again, man.
I know they're going to get a sports center. Dang, they're on the map.
Live on pay-per-view, Luke Rockhold versus Michael Bisping, Dominic Cruz versus Uriah Faber. That's it for today's show. I want to thank everybody for listening. Until next week, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. It's FIVE. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And please visit FiveRoundMMA.com. You can also check this podcast at FightBookMMA.com under the podcast page. I want to thank you all of our sponsors. First is Rock and Green eco-friendly cleaning products, 5 Rounds clothing line, and of course their RMA Foundation or Redemption Martial Arts. Albert, what do you got?
Let's just hope that we don't do a brand split. And thanks everybody for listening.
Oh yeah, cream of the crop.
You are now listening to Afro Mighty Radio.